Hey guys, so this is part 3 of my dark shadow prop making that I'm doing. It's like a 4-part video or something like that. You'll notice that there's a lot of staggering in this video. I already said in the other ones, but if you haven't seen those are in my cosplay what was it? Playlist. Basically these are old clips that I had, and I already made them into a video using another video maker back then, and for some reason I didn't notice that this video maker started glitching and started like it was configuring it like after you do all the edits and stuff. It's supposed to like convert all of the files and the formatting and everything for you, and it turns out it was really bad because it started having these glitches. So I do apologize if randomly, like per frame, it just stops randomly and it's like that. That's literally from that, and I'm using a different editor nowadays just because that one, for some reason, when I try to convert stuff, it doesn't convert stuff properly, and sometimes it doesn't even allow me to play those videos back, like the edited ones that I did. So I just ended up scrapping that whole thing on my iPad, on my, not my iPad, but my Samsung tablet, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna bother using that editor anymore because of that. So yeah, I'm using a new one, so hopefully it's better. But again, because these were like already edited and I already had the clips put together and then I deleted the other actual original clips, that was the thing. So yeah. So today we're making Dark Shadow's arm from Tokoyami's Quirk. There's a Dark Shadow and it's from My Hero Academia. So yeah. Um Basically, I'm making his arm out of paper mache, so I took toilet paper rolls because I didn't have actual paper towel rolls at the time. I think my dad literally threw out all the paper towel rolls every time like we use up our paper towels. Those are like thrown away. As for like the toilet paper rolls, sometimes they're just on the sides, so I do have like a whole bunch extra just to use for anything really. But supposedly I'm supposed to throw it out for like recycling, but the fact that we just had it laying there, I was like, why not use it for this? The only downside of making his arm out of paper mache is that it's really dense and heavy compared to the body. I still haven't made the clip. I have to like compile all of the videos for the clips for the video for his body, which should be the next video. But I still haven't worked on that yet, but it's very staggered and that process is kind of iffy because I didn't do so much videos because by the time at the end of it, I think I was rushing to get it done and I was like, it's not turning out the way that I want, but I'm just gonna do it anyways. So yeah. um so it's been a while since I decided to actually upload these videos or like go over and do it. Um, just because I made this during quarantine and because it wasn't going the way that I wanted, I originally was like, maybe I shouldn't upload these videos, but since I'm still keeping the dark shadow in my room, he's just chilling on a box, I was like, why not make a video for it? Like, you know, go back and re-edit all the photos and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, so I'm just covering all of the toilet paper roll with paper mache. This is literally just a whole bunch of newspaper that I have. Um, to be fairly honest, my family doesn't read any newspaper, so this is all scrap and garbage in the end, so I thought I would keep it. My dad sometimes forgets to recycle it right away, so I just took it from the garage and just decided to bring it in and use it for an arts and craft project, which I hardly do. I don't do paper mache often. I know you can use flour and water, and I was using actual glue with water, but I put way too much water, so by the time I think it you're supposed to put more glue than water, but I put more water than glue, and the glue and the water ended up being like the mixture ended up being way too runny. So by the time it was drying time, it took several days. Again, it took like such a long process to dry, but I was like, that's fine. It actually dried pretty nicely. It doesn't look super neat. Like you'll see the end results, but I tried to wrap everything tightly. Um, like that. I haven't done paper mache in a while, so I do apologize. It's not really some like my forte. And I ended up painting these all black. So I guess I skipped to the part where I'm painting it black. The funny thing is that the mat that I'm working on is an arts and crafts mat. It's for art projects and stuff like that. But I literally always try not to ruin it, but I'm pretty sure there's like some stains on it by now. So yeah. So right now I'm just painting. I think I paint one side and then I let it dry and then I paint the other side. I'm not too sure why I didn't just end up making the whole arm first and then painting it. That would have been something that would be easier, but I guess in my mind I was like, yes, paint it first. I don't know, sometimes my process for like making crafts is very staggered and I'm doing like things that maybe I should be doing like at a different step, but honestly that's just because like sometimes I get too excited and I'm like, yes, I need to paint everything. Never mind, I think I painted it all instead of letting it dry. This is funny because I'm actually looking at old clips and then talking about it. Normally, it's like I'm looking at stuff that I did recently and talking about it, so it's kind of hard to voice over something that like I haven't done in such a long while and I'm looking at it like, why did I do certain things? But yeah, I guess it could dry like that. This was when it was dry, and then I bought this glue that's like really strong and it dries super fast. And my whole thing was like, this was gonna be Dark Shadow's hand, so I was gonna glue on all the claws. Um, the glue dries so fast, by the way, that it wasn't like sticking properly. So I had to put like the actual coat of glue on the actual hand rather than just the claw itself. And you just hold it there and then eventually it'll stick. I like the glue, but the thing is, like, my friend told me, oh, you can get the one where it's just like a brush so you can paint it on. I'm pretty sure you can use this glue on like figures and stuff like that too if they're broken, like statues. But because they dry like really quickly and they're also really it's really see-through, so you can't see it. But the problem with it is that because it's such a strong glue and once you open it, the air goes inside. So literally every time I try to do it now, it's like the glue is kind of dried on the inside, so I can't really reuse the glue. So I don't know. Maybe I just stored it wrong. I'm not too sure why it ended up happening like that. So I used like that glue is not cheap either. Like I looked at the price and my friend was like, "That much money?" But I paid less for that here. I was like, "Yeah," cuz he lives in America, so the glue was cheaper for him. So basically, I'm gluing on every part of the claws. So yeah, but I don't reuse that glue ever again. I think I only reused it like once, but it's hard to like pull out the actual like cap because the cap is actually with the brush, but it's stuck in the glue and it's like drying up. So I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. The only thing about this is that this hand that I made wasn't big enough for all of his claws, so it ended up like coming off of the edge, and I didn't really add that much glue where it was like sturdy, so yeah. I think originally I was just putting it like that, and it was the tip, one tip of the claw that was basically one edge of the claw that was glued down, and then I realized I need to put more and glue it like more onto the other claw because very it was like very wobbly by the time I was done with it. I know I think I left it like that for now, but then yeah, I added more glue. Like I was like, it's not gonna stay. So this is me making the actual arm for it. Um, Same process. I just took a whole bunch of newspaper. I was trying so hard not to get like a mess everywhere. To be honest, this table is very small. It's just a square and it literally is so small. Like it's a kid's table. I still have it. I don't know why, but I still find use for it. Like I put my stuff on it all the time. So that's why I ended up keeping it. I normally draw on it. It's not really great for your back though, considering that because I sit on this storage stool, but that's for a adult size, and while I'm using a kid's table, so you can imagine like I'm just crouching there and working on my drawings constantly. So yeah, so it's not that great of a thing to be honest, but I still use it. I'm thinking about replacing it, but I don't know what with, so I'm just stuck with it for now. I like how there's a whole bunch of foods in this section that I'm just just keeping the paper mache on. It was just open on that page. So I tried wrapping. So I would wrap lengthwise and then widthwise afterwards, just because um, wrapping only one way wouldn't make it super sturdy. So I ended up doing that so that way it would be um, as sturdy as possible. And then I kept layering. To be honest, I didn't do that many layers, so yeah, it wasn't like I didn't spend too much time doing this. I think the hardest part about filming something, especially by yourself, is like when you're filming something that you're doing arts and you're putting your hands on glue or paint or some sort of mixture, and then you have to touch the camera. So I avoided touching the camera until afterwards, where I wiped my hands because of that. So they weren't like super dry, but I decided to do this part anyways because I wanted it to be dry. Literally, I wanted his hand to kind of be in this V shape, so that way it looked, his arm to be in this V shape, so that way it's like kind of bent. Um, this part I didn't do that well, to be honest. I'm gonna be very honest. It looked kind of really bad because what I was trying to do was I was trying to connect the pieces together and make it look natural. And at the same time, I was having a hard time wrapping around like all of the newspaper for this shape. So, and then I had to go to the other side and do the same thing. Um, it's not the best, I will say. Like, it could have looked better, but the way I was doing it, I was like, I wanted to be as sturdy as possible, so I kept layering it. I also wanted it to look flat. The problem was the newspaper kept like sticking out or getting crinkled like that. I think by the end of it, when it dried, it was pretty crinkled on some parts, so it was hard to paint, but then I just left it like that. I tried to get as many layers in as I could just because I realized it's not gonna like dry. It's not gonna be like, what was it, sturdy as I wanted it to be. So I tried to make it as sturdy as possible. Here you'll see my mistake, which is like the newspaper is kind of crinkled on some parts when I wrapped it around. That made it difficult to paint on afterwards. So yeah, there's a couple of mistakes I did when wrapping it. I tried to wrap as neatly as possible though, but it ended up like that. So this was basically, I already painted one side, and then I wanted to show you guys me painting the other side. Um, I don't know. I think I thought I actually filmed me painting one side, but I completely just forgot at that point. Or either that, or I thought it was like too tedious. So at least I got one side of painting for you guys to see. You can see some parts didn't dry as good as it's supposed to, but, and it's like really crinkly in the center, so painting those were the hard parts. I did also kind of water down the paint, where I would dip my paintbrush into the water and then I would just paint like a thin coat. Again, my issue is always rushing, so every time I was like painting these things, I would do enough water that it was like thin, but like you can't see what's behind it, so it's kind of like I only did one coat for everything. So to be honest, it was just like out of sheer like laziness. I always do this, or like I'm rushing and I feel like, oh, I should be done by now, and I'm not. So then I end up doing like this one coat thing where it's like, yeah, that looks even enough. But technically speaking, when you're doing these types of things, you want to water down your paint and then do multiple layers until it's not like see-through and until it looks like it's like, I don't know, it looks even. Like sometimes the painting won't look even if you just rush it. So yeah. I was trying to get all the white parts though, especially because there was a whole bunch that weren't, that ended up like being white due to the newspaper not being completely on the arm properly. As you can see, I was filming at night, so you can't really see it that well. But yeah. So I wanted to stick the arm with the hand, and I ended up using this glue. And yeah, this is when the glue kind of got like dry and is pretty bad. I don't know why it kind of turned black. I'm not sure if it's because it got mixed with the paint somehow or something like that. But yeah, it wasn't sticking properly. But I ended up putting a newspaper there and being like, yeah, sure, it's attached. And just attaching it by doing more paper mache. So yeah, that's basically it for the arm. The arm isn't really my favorite part, to be honest, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye!